Hello everyone! Today we are going to read The Boy Who Loved Broccoli. In this book, a boy named Baxter gets superpowers from eating his broccoli. Let's see what happens. Once there lived a boy who lived an ordinary life. He was a lot like you and me, except for one thing. He loved broccoli so much, he couldn't get enough. His name was Baxter, and broccoli was his favorite thing in all the world. One afternoon, he asked his mom if she would please fix him a plate of the yummy green vegetable. This time, the broccoli tasted extra delicious. He sat down at the usual kitchen table and started to eat and eat and eat. Baxter had never tasted anything so scrumptious. This wasn't the same full feeling he had felt the last time he ate broccoli. As he ate, he felt as though something strange was happening. He began to notice that with each bite he took, his clothes felt tighter and tighter. But he kept eating because his broccoli was just so scrumptious. Soon, Baxter noticed that the kitchen table and chair, where he always sat, began to appear smaller and smaller. But really, he was getting bigger, much bigger. All of a sudden, his head touched the ceiling. With every bite of broccoli, he grew larger and stronger than ever before. Kerpow! Baxter's body was filling up fast with superpowers from the broccoli he was eating. Baxter soon realized he could do anything. He was as big and strong as a dinosaur. He had superhero power. Completely amazed by his newfound power and strength, Baxter tore through the roof of his house and began to run fast. He jumped over freeways and ran past skyscrapers. He splashed through lakes and leaped over mountains. He wasn't even out of breath. Baxter spent most of the afternoon running free, experiencing his newfound powers. As he was wondering what a superhero with such strength could do, he heard someone calling for help. This was his chance to use his superhero powers. He followed the cry for help and discovered a girl whose kite was caught in a tall tree. She stood at the bottom of the tree trunk, looking up through the lofty branches at the stuck kite when Baxter appeared. "I'll help you get your kite," Baxter said to the girl, whose eyes were filled with tears. Shocked at the sight of the giant, the girl just stood there with her mouth wide open. "Do you have any broccoli at your house?" Baxter asked the girl. "Go get some quick." The girl, too afraid to ask why, ran into her house and came back with a stalk of broccoli. She handed it to Baxter. Baxter shook his head and told her to take a bite. As she did, she grew a bit taller. He told her to take another bite and another. Soon the girl was almost the size of Baxter, filled with super broccoli powers. "But how?" the girl began to ask Baxter. But before she could finish her question, he pointed to the broccoli and whispered, "Eat your broccoli and you'll see. You'll be as big as me." He gave her a wink and darted off. So pleased with his superhero good deed, he wanted to find more people to help. That afternoon, Baxter helped an old man whose heavy boxes fell from his truck, a kindergarten class whose recess ball was across a busy street, and a boy whose bicycle wheel was tangled on the railroad track. After he helped each person, he made sure to whisper the secret to them. "Eat your broccoli, you'll see. You'll be as big as me." What a day! Baxter began to feel a bit tired and started to head back, but he had traveled so far with his super broccoli powers that he was very far from home. As he journeyed back, he noticed that with every step he took, he grew shorter and smaller. Because Baxter was hungry, he was losing his superhero powers and started shrinking back to his normal size again. Baxter began to worry that he might not make it home before dark. He suddenly felt scared for the first time all day. While he rested by a tree, he put his head in his hands and began to cry. Feeling the ground shake, Baxter looked up from his tears. There, standing before him, was the girl with the kite, the old man with the boxes, the kindergartners with the ball, and the boy with the bicycle. Only this time they were towering over him. What are you all doing here? And why do you all look so big and strong? Baxter wondered aloud. In unison, they replied, "Eat your broccoli and you'll see, you'll be as big as me." Everyone Baxter had helped that afternoon heard his cry and came back to help him. The group told Baxter that the word had spread about broccoli having superpowers, and they wanted to thank him as they helped him find his way back home. They talked about meeting up together the next day to use their superpowers to help more people. Baxter and his new friends decided they would conquer the world, one broccoli stalk at a time. When Baxter returned home and walked in the doorway, his mom worried where he had been and why his clothes were torn. With his stomach growling, Baxter wondered if it had all just been a part of his imagination. Giving his mom a hug, he asked her what was for dinner. She replied, "Broccoli!" Uh-oh. I hope you liked The Boy Who Loves Broccoli. And who knows, if we eat our broccoli, maybe we'll get superpowers too.